it has been pretty eye-opening to see how fast kids' internal clocks get better. Speaking of exercise manipulation, Rob has a cool metronome game he likes to play.
Well, yeah, okay. So it's something that I learned from one of my techs, and I've kind of taken it and just contorted it and twisted it and made it a lot more fun and complicated. But I think the metronome is, the way I see it used is just like heavily underutilized, and it's very much so just a crutch to where it's either we're using it or we're not, and there's like zero in between. And I've started to take it and make it to where it's a tool to have kids listen and hear their own playing and how it relates to the Met, and they can kind of start to fix their own issues, fix their own hand problems relating to where I place the Met, which will vary constantly. We all just go ahead and start with the metronome on the quarter note, and that can leave gaps, like maybe the 16th note from beat 1 to beat 2, our left hands could be out of time, or maybe the hands like to rush. In order to fix that, I would take the metronome and say we're learning a passage slowly, put the metronome only on the ands. And right there, say it's green scales, immediately every player is focusing on lining up the E's in the C green and the B's in the C green, the third and the seventh scale degrees with the metronome instead of only worrying about their first, fifth, and ninth. Following the eighth note, I'll take it and I'll go for try to stretch it out for a more macro beat. And I'll put the metronome on beats 2 and 4 only, especially as you're gaining speed. The eighth note becomes really difficult. So then they're worried more about a backbeat, and it's not just some sort of a lucid transition from beat 1 to 3. They're now worried about 1 and 3, which they're most likely subdividing on their own, and feeling the impact of beats 2 and 4 when they hear the click from the metronome. And I think the whole game for this is just being able to slowly remove the bet so that the kids are more self-dependent. They're more independent on their own timing. Their brains are just working more and more and more. And the metronome needs to be used as a tool in order to achieve this, not just like a crutch to, hope and pray that you're going to be in time when it's removed.
The next variation we'd go to after putting the Met on 2 and 4 would be to get the kids to think in bar-long phrasing. So you put the downbeat, the metronome on every downbeat.
And sometimes going beyond 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4 to 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, etc. And that way the kid really kind of take turns focusing on each beat within the phrase. Their subdivision isn't allowed to ignore any part of the phrase because every beat matters. If the whole notes are down, they're gravy. Being able to move on to every 8 counts would be the goal. Hopefully they can be consistent enough with that. And or putting the metronome on for 4 counts, off for 4 counts, on for 4 counts, off for 4 counts. And all of these really help the kids realize where their fluctuations and tendencies are on their own. And it's a lot easier for the kids to make these adjustments and care about making these adjustments when it's a self-actualization, when it's a realization that they've come to, not when the person in front of them tells them how it's happening or how they need to fix it. When the kid is realizing their own mistake, they are so much more likely to be intrinsically motivated to fix it.
I have to agree with you a ton, Rob. I'll be honest, I never used a bunch of metronome games really until we started working together. And I just have to say, for those of you that don't do this, it has been pretty eye-opening to see how fast kids internal